everyone, and welcome back to Alma Live. I'm Adriana Monique Alvarez, and I'm so excited to be continuing these conversations on emotional resilience. And I'm very excited to welcome today's guest. Brigid Holder is joining us all the way from Australia. Hi, Brigid. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks, Adriana, for having me.
Absolutely. I know that you love if you would share in your own words who you are and what you're up to.
So I love it when people ask that question because it's really hard to explain who you are to a stranger. What I prefer to do is answer that question with how I came to do what I do. So because of my motherhood journey, I now work with mothers who are in trauma and help them to find the mental capacity and tools and techniques to be able to get through motherhood with ease and grace.
Mm-hmm. I love this. You contributed in Trailblazers and, really began to hear your story of how actually is. Yeah. And I love that you create this honest dialogue that brings us together so that mothers don't have to sort of keep carrying on this Pinterest mom face when in fact it's not very glamorous, is it?
Yeah, no. And I had perfect babies. Like they were perfect. Like they slept through the night within 3 weeks. It was really, I felt guilty for not enjoying motherhood, with the fact that to me it was boring and I couldn't wait to get back to my corporate job at the time and look after 15 women and over 200 people in the field. It was really difficult for me to be able to accept that motherhood wasn't the thing that I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
And, one of the things that I experienced for myself is anytime I communicated was challenging in motherhood, I had the opposite, right? I had babies that didn't sleep for more than 45 minutes at a time. That I heard this phrase, well, you wanted to be a mother. Oh. So here you go. Yeah. Don't complain. This is what you said you wanted, right?
Yeah, and that's really unfair. I think that motherhood is almost kept like this secret society and people don't talk about what it's really like. I did ask my mum a few questions and she told me a few things and I thought, this is not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I don't think that I'm a natural mother. I think there's a lot of women who naturally fall into motherhood and well, on the outside, they appear to do it easily. And I think that I was, on the other hand, pretending that I was that mother and wearing those sort of masks, it's really hard to keep that persona up. And, it wasn't until my eldest was 10 and he's now 14 that I realized that I was pretending a lot of the time that this was a great gig and, it was easy. And I was trying to make sure that everybody else was comfortable that I was a good mother. I'm not saying that I don't think I'm a good mother. I do think I'm a good mother, but I just struggled with the fact that I found it quite boring.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And like you said, I love that you create conversation around this because it very much is this secret society and oftentimes what's really going on behind the scenes, behind the masks is very rarely seen or known. And actually, before we went live, we were having our conversation because today has not been the easiest day for you to join me here today. And we're talking about emotional resilience. Yeah. And, you have your household to carry on. And you shared that this today, God knows how long,
this week I realized that it's the first time I've had a day nap in 11 years. I've been quite ill, so I have some stuff going on that will rectify itself, but this week is the first time where I've gone and had a nap during the day and actually allowed myself to do that without beating myself up. And I mean, I work full time in our traditional business, and I do mother's mentoring, and I have 2 boys that I have to look after. My husband works away a lot, so it's difficult to not give them the attention they need. And, you know, there's study group after school, even though we're still in partial lockdown situations. There's study group straight after school for my eldest, and, you know, the other one wants to go and do some physical activity in different locations, and I can't, and somebody needs to feed them dinner. My eldest has a lot of schoolwork going on at the moment because he got a bit behind with the starting in the virtual schooling situation, and I didn't expect that he should have to stop and get dinner for us. So it's really, to me, I was really pleased with myself to see that I was able to not go, oh, woe be me, I'm so ill, I've got to do this interview, I'm going to have to get up and put makeup on and do my hair. Well, I haven't done any of that. And, you know, that's not normal for me, but I don't feel well. So instead of trying to put another mask on and pretend that something is going on that's not, I thought, no, I'll just show up as I am. And if I'm tired, I'm tired, and I am tired. And if, you know, it doesn't go exactly as it should, it's what's meant to come. So I just think that for me, emotional resilience, we have a roller coaster, and that's life. And particularly for me, that's motherhood. I think that change is inevitable, and knowing what works for each individual person, for yourself, for finding what works for you, is the key to riding your own roller coaster, not what others think you should be riding, not how others think you should be doing it. Your own roller coaster of life is how you come to do it with ease and grace.
So true. And I love that because I'm going blank on his name now. Jim Rohn. I had these old cassette tapes of Jim Rohn years and years ago, and I'd listen to them over and over when I would get ready. And he would always say, you can bet on this. Whatever is up will come down, and whatever's down will come up. And I just locked that in because it's so easy when you're in a down season forever, right? There's never going to be another happy moment. There's not going to be another high. There's not going to be another sale. There's not going to be another, love. There's not going to be another adventure, whatever it is. And when we're high, right, we think, oh, it's always going to feel this way. Oh my God, this is amazing. But it's not. It's just like you said, it's that roller coaster.
Yeah.
There's ups and downs.
Yeah. So I think just recently with the virtual schooling, it's been really frustrating with my 14-year-old. He was struggling with it, and he didn't want to do the work. He's the greatest procrastinator ever put on earth. So he can do everything else except his schoolwork. So he got behind, and I got messages from the teachers, and good on them for calling the parents to let them know, because, he would sit there and say, I'm doing it, lying to me. And I can't say that I experienced that myself. Like I was very studious. I did what I needed to do to get where I wanted to get. And I don't think school is the be all and end all, but he himself, I know, will struggle if he's behind in the fact that he is letting himself down. Mm-hmm. So that's where I find it difficult. I say you want to do well at this subject, and then you don't go and do the work. So those sort of struggles, I often find myself, I get cranky, I'll yell at him, and then I won't realize until half an hour later, and I go, oh, okay, we've got to take a deep breath before we deal with Brock. So it's challenging all the time, and coming back to what works for you. So trusting yourself in making the right decisions too is a big thing. Tapping into your own intuition.
This is so true. one of the things that I learned, and thankfully it was really early on, it was the specific example. Someone had, or lots of someone's had recommended this particular book when I was pregnant with my first son. And so I read it, I marked it, I folded the pages. Oh my God, I'm going to do this exact thing when Sam is born, you know? And interestingly enough, a big part of this book was about wearing your baby. And I mean, I had got every possible way to wear your child, wrap the child, like every color, every style. And then Sam was born. And Sam didn't read that book, apparently, because he hated being worn. This child has appreciated personal space since the minute he came out of the womb. And he did not like to be, I mean, nothing made him more angry than being worn. His face would turn bright red and he just, and I thought, oh my gosh, like you said, this is not about me trying to follow an expert or a formula or what worked for anyone else. I have to tune into myself and this child, and we've got to figure it out. And that's about all that matters. And so when you say really tuning into your intuition, let's talk about that. What does it take for a mother to tune into her own intuition and to trust herself over anyone else?
I think the biggest thing is, the turning point for me was meditation. So once I began to dive into meditation and allow myself time to myself, it changed how everything showed up for me. It changed how I was hearing myself, because, you know, there was all that talk about, you're a bad mother. Why don't you want to spend more time with them? Why don't you like this baby stage? Everybody else likes the baby stage. Why are you different? You know, so once I found meditation, and this was when he was 10, so it's only 4 years ago, I think that I then looked back and went, we did a pretty darn good job, despite the fact that you kept on telling yourself how bad you were. And that all came to me during meditation or just after meditation. So being able to have that silence, stillness, and solitude with myself. And I'm no angel. I don't do it every day. And the days that I don't do it, I can tell. So being ill since last Saturday, I still meditate every day. And I know that it's helping me to get better quicker. So it's, you know, you've got to find what fits for you, but that stillness, silence, and solitude with yourself, I think, for every mother is essential to be able to make, you know, motherhood be easier and more graceful for you and for the kids. Yeah.
Truly. I absolutely agree. Now, was there a particular incident or time when you really came to like a...
Yeah, so it was my mum's heart attack. I started meditation before that, but my mum's heart attack, I think, was the pivotal point for me into, I became, you know, the carer of her, and I saw her in a different light. And then it was almost like a light bulb came on for me, in that how precious life is and how precious your babies are, no matter how old they are, no matter how young they are. And I want to be able to allow my children this emotional resilience. And if I don't have it, and if I haven't learnt it, then I can't pass that on to them. So I think that trusting myself to know that I am doing my best for them and allowing them to grow up to be, I often use the word emotionally agile with my clients, so that they can go through life and not have the same struggles that I had, but to be able to have that to fall back on. is probably the key.
Absolutely. Yes, it is amazing how those big life moments, it's like the fog clears.
Yeah. It was. I always talk about it as I talk about it and describe it as a mini breakdown when Mum had a heart attack. So it wasn't at the same time, after, as she was recovering. And everything felt overwhelming to me. And I had anxiety attacks, and it was an awful period in my life. And I worked with therapists, and my meditation got deeper. And I love anybody that meditation is certainly something that you should look into. And I still use guided meditations. I really like guided meditations because they take me on a journey. I'm a very big thinker, and I've just done a human design thing with a friend of mine, and I'm very interested to dive deeper into that, because reading the initial report, it's like, oh yes, that's it. That's it. That's why I do that. That's why I do that. So it's nice to know that there are explanations for the way that you work, your mind works, your body works, so it's nice to have those. But at the same time, trusting in my intuition is a big deal. And I think that I didn't know that was the catalyst, was my meditation getting deeper, tapping into my own intuition. Yeah.
Yes. It just demonstrates to me once again that those challenging times can lead to better things. Like you said, even at the time, the experience was so difficult, but covering this and now being able to support other mothers, I would love to share with people how they can connect with you, because I have no doubt many mothers are watching this.
So we have a mother's Facebook group. So you do have to be a mother to be in the Facebook group, and it's called I Am a Soulful Mum. I did digress from there for a while, but I'm back, and it's really funny that you write it like that, Mum, M-O-M, because in Australia it's M-U-M.
Yes.
So the page is M-U-M. I find myself, because I have a lot of clients that are from America and friends, I find myself writing M-O-M sometimes as well. So, but the Facebook group is I Am a Soulful Mum, M-U-M. So you can find me through there. I do have some offerings up on that page. And this weekend, I'm actually going to be diving into the challenges I'm now facing with my 14-year-old going through puberty, finding his own way, and the challenges we're having together. So that will be an interesting story to share.
Absolutely. I want to leave everyone with this quote that you had sent me. When you tap into your intuition, you tap into your true self.
Yeah, I do really believe in that too, because it's changed how I think, and it's changed how I would have done in the past.
Yes. That was something that we had discussed before we went live, is tuition. That's the most intelligent, beautiful place to be.
Yeah, it is.
Brigid,
yeah, it's you get an expansion, don't you?
Yeah. It's so much more expanded than if it's just a mental plane.
Yeah. And I used to think people were crazy when they talked about that. Actually, I got asked this week if I turned into a hippie, light worshipping something. I can't remember the last word, but it's funny because when I started meditating, I didn't do it because I thought hippies did it. It's very judgmental of me, and I had a version of what I thought a hippie was. Yes. Perhaps I am a hippie, but I still wear what I call normal clothes. Hippies probably think their clothes are normal too, but yeah.
I love that you said this. It's so true. I mean, it's funny you say that, because this week I encountered something similar. Someone popped into my inbox and called me something that I don't associate with at all. But apparently, because I speak of these various things and say that these tools are the tools I use. And I was the same way. I was just like, me? I'm that? I never knew.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it is amazing the labels and the mentality that so many people have. And I do think that is what can sometimes make it more challenging, because it's like, oh my goodness, we know we need assistance, we know we need support, but it's like, well, these things are only for those people. And people are going to look at you like you're a wacko if you talk about meditation and stillness, when truthfully, our grandparents' generation or our great grandparents, they had stillness naturally in their life, and they didn't think of it. But our society, it's not built in, and so we have to create these pockets of slowing down and just being with ourselves. And I guess we're hippies, Brigid.
No, I'm not a hippie. But I do meditate.
I know, it's so funny, because this was a huge thing growing up, and my mom's had a health food store my whole life. And my mom does not look like the person who owns a health food store. And same thing, we would go visit other health food stores. That was like, that was a thing we did growing up. And they were all ran by people who looked vastly different. And she would say she had a health food store, and they just look at her like, and she'd look at them, and she always would say that. So you made me laugh, because she'd always say, I'm not a hippie. I own a health food store, but I'm not a hippie. Oh my goodness. Brigid, I appreciate you, because I know that it's very late where you are. I know you're not feeling well. You are such a trooper. I've loved having you in my life personally. And I'm so excited that you're contributing in another book, An Awakening, that's going to be coming out soon. I'm sending you a big hug. Get to feeling better. Get some sleep. I love you.
Thank you very much, Adriana.
Thank you to everyone for joining us today. I want to remind you that you can pick up your free pass to Networking Influencers and my free guide, Jumpstart Your Book. Those links are in the description. All right. Until next time, stay well, stay free. I'll see you soon.